Day two. Today, it took me a while to get out of bed. I really didn't want to do it. Well, I did want to get out, but it was kind of difficult. But I did it. I got up, got ready, put on my shoes, and I'm out the door. It's a Saturday, so it's a bit easier since there's really no outside influences to what I do with my day today, other than my family, and they got things going on. So everybody's kind of grown, so I don't have to worry too much about dropping anybody off or picking anyone up, which is cool. But at the same time, I feel like I'm too young to be a empty nester. Me and my wife tend to spend a lot more time together these days, which is great. But we do miss the boys. I have three, and they're all different, and they're all wonderful. Today I was thinking about what should I talk about, and I feel like one of the things that I keep going back to in my daily life is my obsessions. And I call them obsessions because they go beyond a healthy passion for something a lot of the times. For example, cameras. Cameras have always been an obsession, but photography not so much. And I like the tech, whether it's old, classic, or new. I don't know much about any of the cameras I own. I mean, I do know a lot, but I forget. I dive deep into the tech of everything and how it works, and then I forget. And I usually forget when the obsession is over for that period of time. So there's a manic period, and then there's this period where it calms down. And it's usually because I got something else going on. If work gets busy, if business is good, if I'm happy with doing whatever else I'm doing, that one particular obsession dies down. And it's not to say I don't like cameras at that point or I forget them completely. It's just they're not on top of mind and they sit there and collect dust. Until something sparks the obsession again. What I've realized with these obsessions, and I feel like they're positive obsessions. Obsession is usually correlated with a negative. It has a negative connotation, and for me, I feel like it has a positive connotation now. Don't get me wrong; I did have my negative obsessions as well back in the day, more like OCD behavior to deal with anxiety and everything else that was going on. I really lived with a high level of anxiety for about 40 years of my life. I'm 48, and that anxiety really led to self hurting behavior and doing OCD things to get rid of that anxiety that I didn't know how to get rid of. And those were not good obsessions. The OCD behavior that I had wasn't great at all. And it really destroyed my life at different stages of it. But whenever I fell into more of I guess you could call it finding a passion for something, and that passion becomes an obsession when all you think about is the new camera or the new car or the new way of creating a new piece of artwork. And I guess it could get unhealthy, because if you start spending all your money on new gadgets and wasting your time watching YouTube videos, which I've been doing about this new camera I'm getting, I mean, that could get into a negative aspect, right? But because I've had so much experience with myself and quite a bit of self-awareness, when I get into these dips of obsessive behavior towards something, I tone it down, I tone it up, and I try to make sure that the things that I need to do are done before I waste my time or spend my time with new obsession, or the old obsession that keeps coming back, the old flame. Currently, it's the cameras. Right now, I'm holding the GR3, Ricoh GR3, and I laugh because in my head I'm thinking about what my friends and family think about me walking around with this thing all day, every day now. And I'm forcing myself to use it. So I'm doing my best to actually take the obsession into more of a passion, tone it down on some places, and tone it up in the other places. Instead of just obsessing about the gadget or the camera, I'm focusing more on the actual usage of the camera and making sure that I have something to show for this newly refound passion for cameras. So it's been really exciting shooting again. I remember ever since I was a kid, I always had a camera around, and I was the one that would bring the camera to the parties when we were in college. So I have a lot of very bad photos on film, and a lot of good memories though. Bad photos equal good memories for me, and it's nice to be able to look back. At the same time, it's a reminder that I'm aging and life is moving forward very quickly. So I try to approach my art the same way. If I'm not obsessed in the moment or passionate about what I'm going to create, I just don't. I don't like sitting down and forcing myself to paint. But at the same time, there's a lot of buts. At the same time, in 2015, when I decided to become a full-time painter, I told myself, if I'm going to become a painter, I need to paint daily. And that's what really changed everything. Painting daily, sitting down at a coffee shop that I used to sit down at and design logos and websites for people, became a place where I would go and paint. And that daily practice not only helped me heal through my anxiety, find a connection to source, it became a meditative practice that put me in a zone that I started to call the love vortex. And in that love vortex, I was completely safe. And my mind began to heal. And it was almost as if I had taken some sort of drug that fixed everything. Now, you can call that daily practice a meditation. You can call it an obsession, which it wasn't. It was very deliberate, and it was on purpose. And I almost have a hard time finding that place again right now to make that a daily practice, because life takes over. Once art becomes your job, once it's the way you got to make a living, once you have to rely on every stroke, it really weighs on you. And I look back at the artwork that I used to do in 2015, 16, 17, and the detail and everything else, and the time that I was putting into that work is incredible. And I look back and go, who was that guy? Because right now, I don't seem to be able to find that deep desire to sit and paint for that long and to allow myself to get into that zone. And that's exactly why I probably need it the most now. Now, I do have other things. Now I'm picking up a camera. Now I'm picking up this camera. I'm walking. It's only day 2. But I think having a few more interests, passions, and obsessions can be healthy, as long as you don't lose yourself in them. But when I paint, it's imperative that I lose myself in the action of painting. And I really, really want to find that place again, where I'm not thinking about money, where I'm not thinking about worried about the mortgage and the car payments. Car payments, that comes from another obsession that could be completely unhealthy, for me at least. And I'd love to find that space and place again. I have the space for it. I have the physical space for it. I'm blessed to have all the tools, everything from Japanese brushes that I just brought back from Tokyo, to watercolors, to you name it. I have it. I probably should be banned from ever going to the art store again, because I could probably start a shop of my own right now based on what I have in the studio. So again, as I make this video, it's like this is a self-talk, right? I'm just basically reminding myself of all the things that I need to do, all the things that I want to do, and all the things that I have to do. The priorities have always been mixed up for me. When it comes to the physical nature of taking action, I've always taken the easy way out. I, as an artist, like to be in my head, like to be in my heart, like to create things out of nothing consistently. And I love sharing them. But that cycle, when it becomes obsessive again, which can here in this context, that obsession can be negative, creates this issue where I forget the body. And as human beings, we live here, we live on this planet. This is where we are. This is if I can't breathe for 1 minute, I'm gone, right? I mean, so, having to deal with a messed up hip, I know very well what it feels like not to be able to walk for 3 years or so. But somebody who has had issues with tachycardia, with my heart freaking out once in a while, I know what it feels like, that moment where you feel like you're going to die. And yet, once that moment passes, or once that surgery is done and I'm back to health, I still struggle to come back to this body and to take care of it. And so as I talk through all these subjects between obsession, passion, compassion, whatever, I find myself realizing why I'm doing these walks again. It's really to just come back to this body, to connect to it, and to know that it's my only interface with this physical reality. And I like it here. I love my family, I love my parents, I love my wife, I love my kids. I love being able to make people smile, whether it's with a drawing or with the snap of my finger when I do energy healing. It's all amazing. And yet somehow I've chosen to stay in bed for a long time, every day, where it's unnecessary. I've chosen to sit behind a computer or on my phone scroll dooming or doom scrolling, whatever you call that. And so I feel like it's time for this change. It's very, very welcome. And I feel amazing doing it. It's only day 2. I've told friends of mine that if I fall off this wagon, they need to remind me. And I'm here to continue to do this daily, to share it. I'm excited to get back home later today and paint a few things, share a few things, shoot a few photos today. Tonight we have a Valentine's party that we're gonna go to, so I'll be the guy with the camera. And I'm not willing to let these little obsessions go because they make life, more exciting. A little flavor here and there. Whether it's my obsession with hats or glasses, I got a lot of them. And I need to have them for them to come in and go, so I can have this flavor. These are my interfaces to this reality. These are the physical objects. Isn't about, for me, it's not about having the latest and greatest because it's the latest and greatest. It's because it excites me to want to be in the physical reality. Most people don't need it. A lot of people, do fitness and yoga and everything else. And I feel like that's why these walks are important for me. It's like striking that balance between the physical object obsessions and having obsessions that connect me back to the physical reality with my body. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.